Now let's talk about multi-generational planning secrets, a situation where you might gift money to your parents to protect assets. So Dad, you probably would love that idea. You want me to give you some assets? Why don't we talk about what this really means? And let's give an example.
So let's talk about multi-generational planning idea number one, how a successful, arguably wealthy child in her 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s might want to give assets to her parents. Again, intuitively, it doesn't make sense, but it does. Here's why. Sarah is successful. She has a large estate. It's ultimately probably going to be exposed to the estate tax because remember, in 2026, it goes down to only take the word in context, only about $6.5 million per person. So if she has a larger estate and it's growing and she's in high tech and everything is going well, her estate is going to continue growing. There's also the possibility that the level of estate tax protection is going to drop. She may be concerned that she's going to be sued because of the assets that she holds. So one of the things she would consider is transferring a significant portion of her assets to her parents. So the assets are passed along to her parents. She can make gifts to them. She can use this thing called the annual exclusion, or she and her husband can give up to $17,000 each parent per year. So if there's two parents, that's like $68,000 a year can be given away. If she's really motivated, she can make a gift of stock, of other assets that might appreciate in value. Now, what would the parents then do? And the presumption here is that the parents do not have a huge taxable estate. Most parents don't. I mean, let's face it. Okay, so the parents then have those assets in their estate, in their trust, right? They create a family protection dynasty trust for their daughter, Sarah. They modify their trust. It says the assets don't go to Sarah when they pass away. The assets go into the family protection trust created for Sarah's benefit, the Dynasty Trust. So then, upon their passing, number one, because those assets are in the parent's estate, we get this thing called the stepped up basis. Now, if Sarah held on to the assets, she has a very low cost basis. She paid little for the asset, for example. It grew in value. If she kept them and sold them, she'd have capital gains tax. If she later inherits them from mom and dad, the basis increases to reflect the market value on the date of death. She could then sell them, pay no capital gains tax. Number two, far more importantly, the assets that are left in the Dynasty Trust are now excluded and protected from Sarah's taxable estate. One of the major benefits of the Dynasty Trust approach. So maybe there's $1, $2, $4, $5 million in that trust. If Sarah retained those assets, they would be part of her taxable estate, creating exposure. By having them conveyed by two steps into the Dynasty Trust, they're not in her taxable estate, nor will they be in the taxable estate of her kids. We're building in this high level of protection from litigation. If Sarah, we didn't mention this one, but if she gets a divorce, the money that's left in this trust is segregated for her. We've got estate tax protection. We're going to get the stepped up basis for the assets that she gifted. It's an example of creative thinking about how we can take advantage of there being two educated members of a family, two generations where they can coordinate their planning.
I mean, who wouldn't want to get a stepped up basis and get protection from divorce and lawsuits and estate taxes if they can get that? There's obviously a lot of other issues, but this is next level, expert level, 1%er advice. You are now part of this. You are an insider. You understand this. It's easy to find us. Gilfix.com, 650-493-8070. Hey, we hope you enjoyed that. Like, comment, share it with someone who could benefit from this. Stay tuned for so much more free legal educational content on the Gilfix Law YouTube channel. Subscribe. Let's be in touch.